just time out, because it's funny that as a show, we're rooting for the bad guys technically, but we view them as the good guys. But technically, the good guys are the bad guys in the show. I like kind of put that together in my head the other day. I was like, these are definitely terrible people, but we're rooting for them, and we're turning on people like Jenny, Saxe, Blanca, as if they're not trying to do what we would ask anybody else to do in our actual lives.
Because the kid the coldest, maintain that stay the same and maintain it. Safe to say the kid get older. Forever gang, I'm never switching over. Made a lane and niggas can't get over. I can't mess with rappers, they be voting. Rather get the pack and keep it over.
Alright, y'all. It's your boy Dapper back with another reaction. This time we're doing Power. Obviously still season 3, episode 7. This episode wasn't as action packed as episode 6 and 5, but there was big implications happening in this episode. So we're gonna react to that. But before we even do that, make sure y'all subscribing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get to really 500. It's a road to 500. Just keep subscribing if you see this, you know what I'm saying? It don't hurt to subscribe, like the video, of course, and comment if you have a comment, you know what I'm saying? But let's get into the reaction. I'm starting off with Lauren, because Lauren is a big driving force. Well, whatever she's going to do is a big driving force of what's going to happen for the next episodes 8, 9, and 10. You know what I'm saying? Because what's going to happen here with Lauren is she has to go to court and give her piece. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she's had trouble trusting Tariq the entire episode. Tariq shows up. Somehow they don't recognize Tariq in a DA outfit, as if Tariq, I don't know, is like one of the more popular faces in the city, but neither here nor there. He meets with her in the bathroom, gives her the recording of, you know, he stole it from Effie, and, you know, she's talking about she's gonna help him out. So I'm interested to see what that help looks like. Is the plan to just completely throw Effie under the bus? Like, is everything just like, yo, Effie's a fall plan? Like, we're just gonna put everything on Effie? Is that gonna be the issue? Is that gonna be the, you know what I'm saying, the fall plan? So I'm interested to see what that looks like. All right, Effie. Going right into Effie. Effie didn't have too much going on in this episode in particular. However, we saw last episode, her whole plan pretty much got shut down until Kane comes in at the end and says, hey, I'm going to, you know, cut you a piece off of what I get, and, you know, you can still have your thing going. And as you see, they're working on that little romance between her and Kane. My assumption is that her and Kane do hook up, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's few weeks back, towards the earlier episodes of the season, she was like, basically she had kind of one on Instagram, just like, basically like, don't judge my character or come for me for what my character does, or whatever the case may be. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna, you know, go that route, and people are gonna be mad, which is funny because Tariq has like 3 women on a roster, though her, Lauren, and Diana. So like nobody says nothing to Tariq, but either or. So Effie, you know, ends up getting her school, because like Effie ends up getting her school fees paid by Kane, and you know that makes a girl's heart more warmer than when you pay for something, for anything, for her, even if they say they don't want you to, because in real time they're just saying, yo, can you do this for me, but like not make it obvious and make it seem like I'm taking it from you. So that's basically all women ever mean, is like, just don't make it seem like I asked you to do it. And he didn't. He did it without her knowing, and that's going to be a partnership to look at, because as we saw in the preview for the next episode, Kane seems to find out that the plan does seem to be that they're going to throw Effie under the bus, which makes me think, you know, how does that work out? And then I do also remember that, vividly remember the British henchman dude saying that, you know, Effie was supposed to be back on those meetings with them, because, you know, he wants to see all of them together, because they're all implicated in this. So I want to know how that's supposed to work out, or if something that's we're just supposed to forget he ever said. We'll see. Now, Brayden, I don't know how to feel about Brayden in this episode. I really don't. Because he ends up in a situation where, because one, we still haven't seen him get the phone back. I'm assuming at this point Kiki must have slipped him the phone back while they was in, Paris? I'm assuming Kiki must have slipped him the phone back, and they must have, you know what I'm saying, he must have not known she ever had it. But with that being the case, she ends up obviously knowing about Crash Coin, how he's the brains behind it, and kind of influences him to feel, a little bit better about himself, because he is technically not I wouldn't call him the brains, quote unquote, but he did the harder part of the operation, which is creating something to, launder the money through, basically. But my reaction to that is just, I feel like I just don't know what he wants to be yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because then he goes on to find out that, some information about his family being basically a Ponzi scheme, all because of his uncle. And his uncle's basically like, now him and his uncle in like a blackmail standoff, because it's like, hey, I know this about you, but you also know this about me, and it's bad. And then Tariq done put his trust fund money in there off the strength of the fact that he trusted Brayden's family, that they would take care of the money. So now that's a whole different storyline, because now it messes with Tariq's money, that this is the reason Tariq's doing any of this for, is because he has to pay for school. He's trying to get that money. So, you know what I'm saying? This all flows down. So I credit to the writing team for making that like a bottom tier storyline that will then have to come to life at some point. But I don't know. Brayden's still like obviously reaping what he sowed in terms of being like just clumsy with his information, because now Kiki's involved, so on and so forth. So it's weird. It's weird with Brayden right now, and obviously him and Tariq are still not on good terms. So he now has to report to Tariq, even though his uncle told him not to. He's gonna have to tell Tariq what's going on, because he already held from Tariq about Effie and him trying to kill Lauren. So with that being the case, he can't hold that information in, because then he's gonna look like the worst dude, and they're really not gonna be boys anymore. So interested to see how that takes on. Miss Diana Tejada. Another interesting episode for her, because she's now kind of what I feel like stepping into the dark side a little bit, because she ends up, dubbing Salim, thankfully, because there's really no need for her to mess with him. I don't know why they messed with each other in the first place. I guess she just wanted something that wasn't Tariq, but either way, gets rid of Salim and then pulls a curtain on him, because she found out his whole life story and he been capping the whole time. So that made my heart happy, because he looked like a phony to me. You just know a phony dude when you see him. But for her, like I mentioned last reaction, she got caught on the camera, which now includes her, as we saw, in this RICO charge, which is crazy, because Diana is like the least involved possible, and that's who they caught. So it's kind of crazy, and I don't know. And you saw as they were taken away, she's not necessarily built for this life. This is not who she is. She's been trying to run away from it. Granted, she's smart. She knows how to maneuver, but at the same time, she's not. This is not what she wants in life. So with that being the case, I'm really interested to see how she maneuvers. Obviously, they're gonna get her a lawyer. It probably be Davis or something like that, and it's gonna be interesting to see how she maneuvers, because a RICO charge is crazy. We've seen it. We're seeing it in real life with Young Thug and all that. So a RICO charge is crazy. So I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna get themselves out of this one. All right. Before I start off any reaction, I just want to say somebody called her, like they did a review and they called her Quagmire. Funniest thing I ever heard. But we move. I couldn't hate this woman any more than I do as a character. I just don't understand it. She was clearly wrong this whole time. Doesn't admit it. I don't know how they got this whole RICO to stick. Actually, we're going to talk about Blanca next, and I'll tell you my gripes with that situation. But her and Saxe, and her using Saxe, I kind of like where this is going, because we see Saxe is not on her side. Saxe is just working with her because he feels this is the best route for what he's trying to accomplish, which is getting that whole family, all these drugs and all that stuff off the street in general. And it's hilarious. Just time out, because it's funny that as a show, we're rooting for the bad guys technically, but we view them as the good guys. But technically, the good guys are the bad guys in the show. I like kind of put that together in my head the other day. I was like, these are definitely terrible people, but we're rooting for them, and we're turning on people like Jenny, Saxe, Blanca, as if they're not trying to do what we would ask anybody else to do in our actual lives, which is hilarious. But we move forward. Jenny, I'm hoping she has to go, bro. There's no way, because she's gonna snoop and pry. She has to go. She has to lose her license, one or the other. and I think that's what will end up happening or has to happen because if it doesn't, this RICO charge probably ends up sticking. So they have to find some dirt somewhere, and that dirt has to come from Lauren, I'm assuming. So like we'll see. I'm interested to see how that plays out because I think if Lauren used the fact that she, was held against her will, so on and so forth, and blase, like Saxe had told her, about. I think it does hem up Jenny in a bad way because Jenny at this point still thinks Lauren is on her side and is gonna do the whole testifying thing. So with that being the case, once still that table does turn on her, I'm gonna be happy to see her squirm a little bit. All right. For those that might not recognize, this is Blanca. I don't know why everybody else has like an in scene picture, on set picture, or whatever, and she has like a headshot here. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what was phony with this for me. I don't like, and this is a theme within Ghost too, that it seems like there's always like Tariq is able to come up with these plans on the spot. Everybody's able to put things together so quickly, and I don't kind of like that. I get it has to happen sometimes to progress the show, but I just don't like it, especially in this situation here with Blanca, where like she's kind of at the board when they were like piecing together. Okay, where how does Tate fit in this? How does this person fit in this at the board? And she kind of just puts it together like, oh, this, that, and third, this and this, and we tested they tested the cocaine, and the purity levels matched this, and I'm just like, how did you put all that together so freaking quickly? Like, I think that should have taken a little more time. Like, I feel like she just came with that on the spot, and it's like, oh. But again, they're professionals, so I guess that's what they're trying to portray, like that she's that good at her job, that it's, what I'm saying, so they should be worried about her, blase, blase. So, I guess that's really all I had. I just kind of didn't like how fast she figured that out, but like they said, they're gonna go forward with the Rico, and it's about to get spooky. All right, yeah. Sorry for the change of the picture. My original source seems to have having coding issues. So yeah, but Davis McLean. So Davis, I'm not gonna lie, Davis is probably gonna have to be. And I mean, he's already a big part of the show, obviously, but he's gonna have his hands tied in different places at this point because he got his, the emotional connection is him and his brother, and we saw that him and his brother's not happy about the way he got out of prison. And my thing is, I think the brother's a little ungrateful because you let him go. You took the charge for your brother so he could become something. He becomes something. Of course, he does it a little bit, illegally to get you out of, your situation. And you tell him like piss off. That's crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's kind of crazy to me. There's no way in the world I'm gonna be that ungrateful. Like you got me another chance. You know what I'm saying? And like we did this cleanly. Nobody's supposed to figure this out unless you say something. And you just sitting there being ungrateful, like, oh, because you did it the wrong way, don't ever talk to me again. I think that's very ungrateful. But then moving forward, Davis is obviously the lawyer representative for the Tejada family, so he's probably gonna be there for Lauren, not Lauren, Diana. So he's gonna have that to deal with. Tariq is gonna need somebody because if he gets implicated, Monet might need somebody if he gets Kane. All these people. He's gonna have so much people that's gonna need him, and his heart may be elsewhere, and obviously on top of that, Saxe is already moving funny with him because Saxe is getting to know him more on a personal level, and he's really involved in the Theo round, so Saxe could hold that against him because Saxe is technically on the opposite team. So it's a lot going on for Davis right now, and like it might catch up with him, and I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, the writers are gonna write, but I don't know how they're gonna get him out of that because he's a smooth guy, he's a smart dude, but he's gonna be so all over the place with this person's case, that person's case, his brother, like, and then Saxe turning his back on him probably eventually. So it's like he's not gonna know. I don't know if he's gonna know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. Saxe, I don't really have too much of a reaction to Saxe because Saxe has just been Saxe. Like this, like I said before, people that disagree with me, that's fine. Saxe is gonna be Saxe. Saxe is gonna do what Saxe does, and I don't really have much of a reaction to it. He's trying to play both sides as usual. You know what I'm saying? Here, a lie here, deceitful comment here. It's Saxe. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I already know what his role is gonna be in this. He's gonna try and play both sides, so he can't He's gonna pick a side that works best for him. I think the side that works best for him will probably. Actually, you know what? That's my reaction. I really don't know what side is gonna be the side that works best for him, which is working with Davis, or is it gonna be sticking with Blanca and Jenny, in a sense. So on their side, kind of things. So we'll see. Kane is, I don't know, because we see it gets to the point where you know because obviously we saw in the last episode Kane clearly was on to Monique. Maybe he didn't know Monique sent Gordo to do it at that moment, but he definitely knew Monique had something to do with Lorenzo's death. So when it comes to a situation where you know they're going to set up another dude for the death of Lorenzo, because everybody, this is all to play Drew. You know what I'm saying? It gets it gets weird, and then we had the storyline with Kane and Effie where his heart is kind of entangled there, and then we saw with the preview for the next episode where he finds out that the fall plan is basically to dime her out. It I want to know what Kane and where Kane's gonna stand, because he has to make a stand. It can't be Effie and the family. It kind of has to be one or the other. And I can see him branching off and doing his own thing eventually, but I feel like that's not the moment for that. This moment is not the point in time for that. I feel like it's gonna come to a situation where he's gonna have to make a choice, and it's gonna be interesting. All right, sorry, don't mind the article. It's an old article. I don't really care about the article. Just wanted the picture, but Drew. Drew's in a. This is like Drew. This is like a very emotional roller coaster for Drew because, he loses. We know he lost Everett. He loses Everett. To the G League or wherever Everett went, and then he finds love in an old family friend. That family friend ends up going behind his back, and killing his father. And it's funny because the way Drew found out isn't necessarily the way he probably should have found out, because it still was deceitful on Monet's behalf. It's still the truth that Gordo killed him. So he ends up having to kill Gordo, and that's I can just picture. He's already was spiraling from before, and then he found some leveling, and so this is gonna send him into a deeper spiral because I don't. He's gonna move off of emotion. He might become a lot more savage. I don't know what the writer's plan is for Drew as a character going forward. I'm interested because we see what Kane is, and I don't think Drew is Kane, but Drew seems to be a much more emotionally driven dude. So I'm trying to think, like, I don't know what Drew's next moves are and who he's loyal to. Because I imagine there's a world where he eventually finds out that Monet set that up. It has to be. And, I just don't know who he's going to trust and where he's going to lie, he's on what side of the fence he's going to lie on once, those things come to light. All right, so we have Monet Tejada pulling off. It went from a very uneventful beginning of the season for her, just being sad over Zeke, to her pulling out all the savagery stops. Like, once again, we're up there for worst mother in Power history, in my opinion. She's just doing dirt, but she's good. She's not getting caught with her hands dirty yet, which is the most important point. But, I think it's all going to come back to backfire her at some point. I just don't know when that point is, because Kane is already on to her. Drew is going to be looking for answers and, questions as to why and how. And, so that's might come back to her. Diana's already in a funk because she truly loves Diana. I think she loves Diana the most. It's just a matter of the fact that I think that her and Diana are alike in a sense, to the point where she just can't, they clash. I think that's what that is. But, Diana's, in a pinch with the whole RICO charge and things of that nature. Who knows? They might bring Monet in eventually, because I think that's the goal. She's got a lot going on. The body's dropped. Monet's got a lot on her plate, and I think it's gonna come back to bite her in the ass, unfortunately. And I just want to see how they're gonna let that play out, because it has to. She can't keep, in the words of I think it's Jesse Pinkman, she can't keep getting away with this. Like, all right, last but not least, we got Tariq St. Patrick. Now, if anybody's tangled up in a bunch of stuff, it's gonna be Tariq. Tariq has, has to find himself basically just being conniving and let me start from the top. Tariq St. Patrick. Now, Tariq, his main goal this episode is to get Lauren to trust him again. He succeeds at that because, he plays Effie and basically gets a recording of her, basically admitting to, the whole Lauren trying to kill Lauren thing. So that's, his ace in the hole. But, what Lauren does with that information is the interesting part as far as Tariq goes. He finds out that they're trying to hit him with a Rico. A Rico is crazy. And, now he has to panic on that. He has to report back to the team that, there's a Rico coming with that. And Diana's already gone. He doesn't even know that yet. Him and Diana have been kicking it. So that's going to hit him in the heartstrings, even though I think he really cares about Lauren more than Diana, which is sad for Diana. It's tough because I always feel bad for Tariq because his life is just a series of unfortunate events that he has to then clean up by doing other unfortunate things that then hurt him in the long run. So it's tough being Tariq. It's people pitting against, like, he's hot, he can't be in the streets. It's bad. I mean, it's hard to react to Tariq at this point because I've said everything for everybody else, but I'm interested to see what harebrained scheme he comes up with, because that's the thing that it's good with Tariq's character, but it gets me tight at the same time that he's able to just come up with these plans so quickly within like 5 seconds that allow him to like maneuver and get out of situations. But I really don't know what his out would be in a situation, especially if Lauren doesn't do what she's supposed to. But if she does, I'm pretty sure it helps him a boatload, but it doesn't clear all his issues. So I want to see what that's going to look like. So with that being said, that's all I really have for Tariq for today's episode. I just want to see this play out. Because episode 7, this has been like a setup episode for what's the next 3 episodes, which it should be. It should be a setup for the next 3 episodes to be pretty epic. So we'll work from there. But yeah, with that being the case, this is the end of another power reaction from me. Not too much on me. Sorry, it's been a long day. But yeah, that's what I got for the episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to do this till the end. Episode 8, episode 9, 10. We're going to keep going. So see y'all for the next episode.
Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. He ain't